Hey everyone, and welcome to our weekly Q&A session. I'm here, one of your co-hosts today, Adam Teese, product manager for funnels and integrations at Clickfunnels. With me, I've got Andrew Newman. He's the support lead for Actionetics. And today, for the first 10 minutes, while you guys queue up your questions, we're going to be covering some awesome Actionetics training that I'm going to be learning a lot about myself because I don't get a lot of time to actually play on the Actionetics side of things. So please do remember there's like a 30 to 45 second delay between what we say and what you guys see. So just queue up your questions and we will get to them as they come, as like in the order they come in. So without further ado, Andrew, go ahead and take it away and do your Actionetics training.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. If everybody could just let me know if you can see my screen.
Looks good.
There on the right-hand side, looking good. All right, so the first thing that I want to share with everybody, we're going to be going over some of the very basics of Actionetics. What is it? What's the difference between an automation sequence, a list, action funnels, the contacts versus the subscribers, a broadcast email, one-time use, and scheduled. So these are a lot of the questions that I've personally been seeing come into the help desk that are pretty basic, and I want to be able to answer those in a more public format for you. So basically what we're going to do here, this is just a basic opt-in funnel that I've created prior to the webinar. And we have an opt-in, a thank you page, and a confirmation page. So what I want to do in this particular sequence, just as a demonstration for the training, is walk you through the process of setting up what we would call a double opt-in process. So here we have an opt-in page, and we're going to have to set automations. Here in the automation tab, this is going to be specific for this opt-in page. So when a person opts into this funnel, anything that happens on here will specifically take place on this step of this funnel only, not within all of your ClickFunnels account. So what we'll do here is we'll open up this automation, and you'll see here that I have adding to a list. So this is an action. Actions are determining exactly what this is going to do when a person opts in. In this case, we're going to be adding them to a list, and we're going to be covering the list here momentarily. So jot that down, and just we're going to make a reference here to it in a second. So how we're going to do that, when you add a new action, you have an option. The options are to either send an email, send a text message, or do a specific action as an add to a list, remove from a list, something like that. In this case, just to go through this little demonstration, we're just going to be adding a person to a list. So this is going to be the demo for the webinar.
Andrew, it looks like for some reason they can only see me.
I can only see you.
I don't know why. So I need to unpresent and then present and make you presenter again.
All right, so I'm going to put you.
We'll just turn off the presenter thing.
And then stop presenting. And then present to everyone. Can you guys see me now? Oh, I hope so, because if you can see me, then what's going to happen is you're going to see my screen. So you should be able to see my screen here, make it a little bit bigger, so that you can see the whole screen. So I hope everybody can see the screen. Adam, can you see the screen?
I can see it.
You can see the screen. So if everybody can't see the screen,
wait a couple seconds for everyone to catch
up. So all the way up to this point, what we're doing is we're setting up an action. So I'm going to go back out to the very beginning and show you what we've got. So here we have the actual funnel. Everybody who's here knows what we have, what this view looks like. So when we go into the automation tab here, this is going to be specifically to the opt-in page. So what's going to happen when we go here, I've already set up an action step to add to a list, and I'm going to show you how to do that. When a person comes in here, you have these three options to choose from. You can add a new action, add a new email, or send a new text message. So one of the things that confuses a lot of people when we get tickets about this is this email versus the ones here in Actionetics, such as the broadcast and the action funnels. So that's what we really want to focus on here today. So if I add a new email here, this email will trigger specifically when somebody opts into this page only. So from that point, it will move forward. If you have an action step and that action is going to take place, it's going to start that action sequence. I want to share with you how to set up an action step or an automation step to add a person to a list so that you can send an action email through Actionetics. And that's how we're going to do this. So we're going to go to the new action. And here I'm going to call this just a demo for the webinar. And the condition here is everyone. Sometimes if you have the proper page, like for example, a order form, it's going to give you conditions to do additional conditions that you can choose from. And you'll see that when you tinker with this. So the action to do is we're going to add this person to a list. As you can see, we can remove from a list, or we can send email notifications. So as an example, if you want a person or you want the system to send you an email saying you have a new subscriber, you can use the email notification here. In this case, we're just going to add to a list. Here's the list that it's going to choose. So we have actually quite a few lists. I'm going to go to demo list 3.1 just because that's just the name of that demonstration list. There's no real purpose for that. But you'll see here that we have added this particular step to this option. So what's going to happen when a person opts in, we have 2 steps now. This particular one's going to fire, and it's going to add them to the demo list 3.1, as well as the one that we just created. Now I want to delete one of them simply because we don't want to. Now I'm going to go up here. The next thing I want to do is I want to be able to create a list. So what's going to happen is I come into the Actionetics and I go to my email list, because in order for me to add a person to a list, I must have a list for them to add to. So what happens here is you create a new list and you'll name that. This is also going to be the demo for the webinar. And this group tag, I'm just going to put it into a group of demo lists, okay, so that I can separate them later. As you can see, here's my demo tag, and that shows all the lists associated with this one particular group of funnels. So my demo list there has been created, and I can add people to that list through the series of actions that we just went through. Now we have Actionetics, and this is where a lot of confusion comes in from the automation emails versus the Actionetics emails. And what you're going to see if you have Actionetics in your funnel emails is you're going to see all the templates and all that wonderful stuff that you get within the email system, but also have the ability to create these action funnels. So when we go to these, what it's going to do is going to create a new action funnel. In this case, this is also going to be the demo for the webinar, right? The group tag is going to be demos. And then we're going to assign this to a list. The list we're going to assign it to will be our demo list 3.1. Okay, so the purpose of that is when a person opts in, they're assigned to demo list 3.1, this Actionetics sequence will trigger. So I hope that makes sense. Now, where a little bit of clarity is going to need to come from with Actionetics, and when I say what it will trigger, is we have a step here. Now we can do a couple of things. Just like on the opt-in page, we can send a text message, we can do an action, and we can also send an email. In this case, I want to do an action, and I want to do a notification email. And I'm going to trigger this immediately upon this condition being met. So we're going to go ahead and create that step. Now you'll see right here that we have a rule that we can add. When I'm going to add this rule, this is going to be a conditional rule based off of this specific action step. So this is where the difference is between the actual automation sequence and the Actionetics sequence. This is going to be conditional on a person doing specific actions within your funnel. So we're going to add a group here. In this contact, in this particular case, I'm just making this up right now, and I'm going to use the easy one, which is going to be social media. We'll grab Facebook, where are we at? Facebook followers, and let's say their followers are greater than 99. Meaning they'll have 100 followers or more. We'll save the changes. So they'll be sent this, you'll be sent this notification email when a person opts into your list who has more than 100 followers. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, obviously you can ask them there on the right. So when we go here to our settings, this is going to be an area within Actionetics where you can adjust your action funnel. Okay. One thing that's very important is you see where it says pause right here. You're going to need to turn this on. So when you turn this on, you simply toggle this from live, pause to live, and then click the update. Now this action step is live. If a person opts into this funnel, ends up on demo list 3.1, and they have greater than 99 followers, I'm going to personally receive an email as the owner of this list, letting me know that I now have a new subscriber who meets that criteria. So I hope that helps with that right there. Now, one thing I want to cover that also causes a lot of confusion that we're seeing in the tickets is the difference between contacts versus subscribers. Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm just going to grab a random one. I'll grab myself. So here's a profile that I use for testing. And you'll see here that I'm actually subscribed to 4 email lists. I have made 3 purchases. These are all test purchases within the system, and it shows the recent activity for the contact. Now, this contact cannot be deleted from your system. And this is where we get a lot of confusion from members, not understanding where to delete contacts. And I'll show you what you do here. So what you have is under your email list, you go to the email automation, you'll see all the lists that this particular subscriber is subscribed to. So if you don't want them to receive emails, what you would do is simply just delete each and every single one of the lists that this particular subscriber is subscribed to. Now this contact will not receive any more emails. It means they're not subscribed to any of your lists, but they're still within your Actionetics as a contact. So I hope that makes sense. And if you want to add them, it's just the reverse. You simply just select the list that you want to add them to from the subscribe to list, and you can add them to anything that you want. The memberships that they have, you can add them to the membership sites through the membership site sections themselves. I'm not going to go into that in this particular training because we just don't have time. So purchases, you can actually refund their purchases all from within their contact profile. So I hope that helps. We've actually covered just about everything with the exception of the broadcast emails, but I think it's a lot more important that we get to the live session and answer your questions. I have taken up a little bit more time than we should have. So Adam, do we have any questions that we can
the only question we have might be a bug that needs a ticket. We have Alessandro saying about actions, it doesn't work when I put an automation to move people to a different list after they buy or don't buy.
All right, Alessandro, go ahead and submit a ticket for that. We actually have been doing tests with that this morning. What we've found is that it actually does work on the system on just a bare bones moving around. So we know that it's not actually a bug that's system wide. So what we'll have to do is we'll actually have to go through your entire funnel step by step and see where something is not happening. There's got to be an action somewhere or something where it's either removing them and adding them at the same time. It can be like we're going over here. There's a lot of different places you can set up the exact same processes. And if you have them set up that way, it can cause problems within the system. So yeah, you're going to have to open up a ticket with that and just let us know that what's going on. We'll go into your ticket and we'll actually dig in. I think we actually have, to be honest. So if you want to just kind of respond to the ticket that if you're the person that I think you are, we'll get you squared away. You're muted. There you go.
We've got Roy asking, how can my get response program be substituted by Actionetics? So how does Actionetics actually replace get response?
How does Actionetics replace get response? Okay. Get response is an autoresponder system. Actionetics is more of a customer management system. As you can see, my profile here on the screen, you'll see how many purchases I've made, your membership sites, all the different lists. It's not the same as what GetResponse does with reference to Clickfunnels. Now in GetResponse, from what I can remember, I haven't used GetResponse for months, so pardon me if I'm wrong, but in GetResponse, you can measure your subscribers, you can move them from lists and all that wonderful stuff. But when they purchase something from Clickfunnels, you don't know what the lifetime value of that customer is in GetResponse. You'd actually have to track that from a third party. As you can see here from just my demo profile, I've actually made 3 purchases. My recent activities all there. Everything within Clickfunnels is inside of Actionetics for each individual contact. That's just not something that GetResponse offers when connected to Clickfunnels. And as far as I know, it wouldn't do that if it's connected to any of your external websites either. I hope that kind of clarifies a little bit. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that we can go into with that. Adam, do you have any feedback as far as that one goes?
Yeah, that's pretty much, you covered it exactly. So we've also got Alessandro saying, is it possible to associate an action funnel to more than one list?
Yes, you can add as many lists as you want to each action funnel. So basically when you come in here and you go to your action funnels, we'll just grab this one. And then what we do is we'll go into our funnel itself and we can, oh, I apologize. I was wrong. I was thinking tags. No, but you can duplicate the funnel and assign it to a different list. So basically if you wanted to create this exact action funnel right here, and you wanted to apply it to multiple lists, you just simply copy this one and then apply that to each individual list.
Yes, and also one thing to keep in mind, contacts can be a member of multiple lists. So if you want a specific action funnel to apply to certain contacts, just make sure that contact gets added to a list for the funnel, basically.
And that's another thing to kind of take note of. When you have A contact subscribed to multiple lists. I'll show you again. It doesn't add, like, for example, if you have a person subscribed to 8 lists, it doesn't add that person 8 times. It's just one contact within Actionetics, and it has a tag for each of the email lists that you have them subscribed to. So as you can see here, this person, well, me, I'm not going to show up, 4 times now in the system. I'm just going to receive emails from those auto responses or any broadcasts that I send to those particular lists. So I hope that helps. Now, one thing that will happen if you send a broadcast, okay, and I'm subscribed to 2 different lists, I'm going to receive 2 versions of that broadcast. I'm going to receive that broadcast twice. That's one thing to take note of before you send a broadcast.
Liz is asking, how can we delete contacts in Actionetics?
Contacts themselves cannot be deleted. You can remove them from the specific lists, but as the record, like this right here, this particular me, I'm removed from all of the lists. So I'm not subscribed to anything. I'm also removed from all memberships. So this is a contact record that shows that I've been subscribed. It shows my activity within the funnel, where I subscribe from. Any autoresponder service that you use is going to have that feature. So what ends up happening is it's in the background. You just can't see it. Now, if you go into if you have Aweber or GetResponse, you can go in there and see everybody who's unsubscribed, everybody who's complained. You know what I mean? They're all there, and they're segmented, but they're hidden. And that's one thing that we don't do. That your contacts are all right there. You can see them all, and that's one thing that causes confusion as well. So.
Yes, and if you are coming close to that 100,000 contact limit in Actionetics, just contact support and we'll work with you to clean up your contacts and stuff. We'll get you taken care of. We're not trying to block people from the data. It's just, if we had the delete button, we would have too many tickets coming in to say, hey, I accidentally deleted it, no matter how many steps we'd put in place to prevent them from accidentally deleting it. So we are looking at options in the future to possibly add the ability to remove a contact from Actionetics completely, but we just got to make sure that's planned out very, very well as far as the user experience goes. We've got Carlo asking a couple of questions related to sales in the order form. Why doesn't the order form track sales correctly anymore? How do you open the sales info so you can see all of the client's info? How can you see it? How can you set it to the date and not how many days ago? As far as sales not tracking correctly, I don't know what you mean it not tracking correctly. It tracks perfectly as far as I know. If you're having issues with it, please submit a ticket. How do you open the sales info so you can see all of the client's info? You can just click on the sales. So if you go to do you have any sales funnels in your account, Andrew?
I don't have any that aren't demo funnels.
Oh yeah, a demo funnel is fine. Yeah, we don't need real data. Just something that has some sales. Even though they're just demo sales.
Demonstration. I deleted them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have one that has any actual.
Well, actually, can you go to the QA account? The quality assurance account. We have a QA account that we're building a whole bunch of tests in and stuff. So that way, every time there's an update, all these tests will be automatically run on these funnels. So you can go into the standard Stripe sales funnel. Yeah, that's fine. And if you go to the order form and then click sales. Now, you actually, the reason we don't show anything in here is because as far as the contact information goes, we're actually, I was working on this yesterday with the developers. We're going to be changing it so that way there's not going to be a refund button there anymore. There's going to be a details button with more info about the order and the contact that it's associated with. But it'll also, inside the details, that will be where you actually refund. So we're going to make it so you can keep refunding or deleting the transactions as needed, but it'll just be an extra step to click that. But there's going to be more information there. You can also click that download purchases, and you can download all the purchases. You're also saying, how can you view by date? And we don't allow viewing by date right now, just because there was too many, it caused too many server issues. So we restricted it to the 7 days, 30 days, what is it, like 7 days, 30 days, 2 months, year, and all time. Those limiting it to those options made everything run a lot better. So we're keeping that for now, and we're working on optimizing it so you can select by date. So if you need a recent thing, I would just say choose last 7 days. But you can also do a search by email. So if you know someone specifically who bought the product, you can type in their email, search by product. That's different. I thought it was search by email. I'll make sure that's all fixed though. But you can also, again, download the purchases, and you'll have more data than what's on here in the CSV file, and then you can manipulate that in Microsoft Excel or whatever, however you need. Melanie's asking, if my funnel sends them to a different course platform to purchase and buy there, but sends them back to a confirmation in Clickfunnels, what data can be passed along for statistics or which users bought? Unfortunately, without third-party tracking, there's no way. There's really no way for Clickfunnels to track any of that information because nothing's integrated as far as the course platform goes, unless you have something. And there might be possibilities with custom JavaScript and stuff, but we can't offer support for that. You'd have to have a developer help you with that. Roy's saying, do I need Actionetics to do retargeting and put ads into Facebook, or can I do this with just Clickfunnels?
You should be able to do that with just Clickfunnels. You don't need Actionetics for that. I would recommend that you do have a more advanced autoresponder than just the basic SMTP text editing autoresponder that you do get at the level without Actionetics. So if you're going to use a third-party one, just to be able to track if your retargeting campaign is actually generating leads or if it's your advertising. That's one of the most important parts of it. But you don't need Actionetics to run a retargeting campaign. No.
Yeah. JD is asking, I have a membership site to deliver digital products. Not all the people who purchase can be found in the members area. These people are not getting access to the products they purchase. How can I add that email address as a paid member so they can access their products?
Okay.
So what's happening is when someone makes a purchase, they aren't automatically added to a membership area. They have to go register. They will get a link in their email from the fulfillment email, as well as a link on the order confirmation page with the link to register for that membership area. And the system will automatically know that they have purchased access to a product. So then once they log in with the email they used to purchase with or create an account, then they can then they'll have access. The other thing also is you can send them the access to the secret thank you link on the membership area, the secret sign up URL. If you send them that link and they register with the email that they bought, they will have full access to everything. The system remembers that their email bought something. So it will automatically, like when you view the member, it might not have the product applied because they registered through the secret sign up URL, but they will have access to the products. Yeah, so exactly what Andrew's showing. And also keep in mind right now that when you view members, it only shows members that signed up within the last 30 days. I'm actually working on changing that or having the developers change that to have it set to show members for all time by default, just because usually when you're searching through members, you're not going to be searching when they most recently signed up. But that page will be, that's the other thing is if they're just missing from that page and you think they might have access, make sure you click that drop down on the members area to choose all time.
You pretty much covered it. I'm just showing and telling.
Alessandro is asking, is it possible in the membership area to buy a section at a time? Technically, yes. Because what you would do is you'd have the members area with different with different sections, as you already said, and each section has a different restrict access, as you can see on Andrew's screen. And when you click restrict access, you can have different products. So if you wanted to have like them go through a funnel, you could have the main product be section 1, an OTO page be section 2, or OTO product be section 2, and then as part of either section 1 or section 2, you can direct them to another order form. You can actually just basically make a lesson. Unfortunately, you can't hide the lesson if they've already bought, so it would be there for everyone, but you can just have a link to, hey, if you don't have access to section 3, then go to this link and order. Go through the order form process, and you'll once you buy it, you'll have access to it. So that's how that works. Just make sure if you do that, tell them to purchase with the same email address that they've already registered the membership area with. That's all we have for questions so far. So give it a few seconds, and if they can't come up with any more questions, we might have an early day.
Well, I'll go ahead, and if there are no more questions, just finish covering the broadcast emails and Actionetics. So one of the things that is really awesome is I really like the editor in Actionetics. That's something that is not available in other email systems. But when you send a broadcast email, you have a couple of options. You can send these immediately by creating your subject line, whatever list you want to send it to, you just simply select it. If you want to send it to several lists, make sure, obviously, you don't want your subscribers getting more than one email from you. It's kind of annoying when that happens. So you want to make sure that your subscribers that you're sending the broadcast to are only going to receive one. Make sure they're not subscribed to multiple lists. It could be a little bit challenging from time to time. There's no way to actually figure that out within the broadcast email, but we might have to look into that a little bit more. However, create a subject line and go ahead, and you can schedule this for later if you wanted to. Say, for example, if you're like a broadcast email, more conceptually, these are emails that are not going to be an autoresponder format. So it's not something you want to come in here and schedule 5 emails unless it's something that's like a one-time thing. So if you have a product launch that you're doing, sending a broadcast email to let your affiliates know about that, that's going to send a specific email to a specific group of people at a specific time. It's a live email, so I hope that helps. So sending later, if you wanted to send this, say, for example, I want to send this email on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Okay, so this is going to be actually in the time that we have set in our account settings. And what that mean, or 2 o'clock, sorry. What that means is when you set your account up, it's automatically at UTC time. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to come in, you're going to need to set this to your time zone. So that you get accurate times on your broadcast. That's another thing that's pretty common with broadcasts not going out on time that are scheduled. So what you want to do is make sure that that's set up. Make sure that you're following that. And then the next thing here, subject line, create your list. Use your template. If you have some done for you templates, you can do that. Sending later, you can schedule it out. When to send. Sending now is generally what I do. And then go ahead, once you've gotten your subject line, and we'll send it to an email list, and we'll use this template. And what we'll do is we'll send now. And you'll notice when you send these right away, what's going to happen is, send email. What's going to happen is it's going to go into the queue. And what that's doing is on the back end, ClickFunnels is actually sending through your SMTP server these emails one at a time. It's not going to go from the scheduled to the sent until the final email in that list has actually gone out. So if you have a large list, it's going to sit here for a while it's sending out. And the reason why it will sit there, say, for example, if you're using Mandrill and you have 30 emails an hour that your account is limited to, it all depends on the how you send your emails and things like that in your account. But what will happen is it's only going to send the amount that you have per hour. So every hour, if you have a list that exceeds that by 10 times your hourly allotment, it's going to take 10 hours to send that email. Just so you know, just keep that in your mind when you see this. This is actually sending in the background right now to that specific list. If I refresh this, it should be down on the bottom because it's a really small list, but it's not. That's okay. But just that's basically what happens. These usually sit here for about 5 minutes. It's 1:34, it's 1:30, so it's going to be sitting there for about 4 minutes. I don't want to watch that. It's like watching paint dry. But that's basically how the broadcast system works. If you think about this logically, if you're going to send an email sequence, 5-7 emails, just simply place that directly on the funnel itself, on, say, for example, the opt-in page. So here I set an automation. People that opt in, they're going to receive an email. Now I can put 5, 6, 7, 8 emails here, schedule them out for one day apart. And that can just be my little soapbox sequence right there, right? And then when we go into Actionetics, we have the action funnels. These are going to be conditional emails. So for example, if a person opts into this, they open a specific email. And if they did that, I want to say, hey, I saw you saw the offer, right? And you want to do something of that nature. You can come in here, you can create an action funnel, and you can make it conditional upon a person opening a specific email. Now, this is for your broadcast, okay? But if they open something in your funnel, if they visit a specific step, anything like that, this email will trigger. So you have the option of being able to do that within Actionetics. And this is just kind of winging it, throwing this out there for you guys, little ideas. You literally have unlimited opportunity to set this up any way that you want to set this up, with anything that you want to do with it. It's insane. It's limitless. So for us to try to sum this up in a 40-minute webinar, it just does not do it justice. We'll put it like that. But I see questions. So we'll go ahead and we'll take some more questions. What do we got, Adam?
Well, Steven's asking, will there be Braintree integration? And yes, that is definitely planned. No ETA as to when it'll be done, though. And Liz was just asking what you just covered. Why would you not set up a full autoresponder sequence here, which was on the broadcast page? But based on what you just said, she just said, thanks for clarification as to why you'd build your autoresponder sequence in the action funnel.
I had a premonition you were going to ask that, Liz. That's why.
With that's all of our questions. So we can go ahead and wrap up early. And if there's no more questions that come in the next like 10 to 15 seconds, then we'll go ahead and wrap up, and everyone can get on with their day. I really appreciate everyone coming out. Me too. You guys are awesome. We like the questions. So again, we'll see you guys next week. And as always, it is a pleasure having you. Talk later. Thanks, guys. Am I still sharing my screen? You're not sharing your screen. We're still live, though. Awesome.